birth of the new Super Warrior Kefla has now placed Goku and all opposing opponents in a very tight spot as Kefla looks to take on Super Saiyan God Goku head-on in their upcoming confrontation. But how useful is Kefla going to be in the tournament as she looks to increase her powers far beyond her own limits into what she is truly capable of? Will she eventually defuse, or will something else occur leading Universe 6 ever so closer to victory? On today's video, we are going to be discussing the overall events surrounding Kefla and her role in the Tournament of Power, and further seeing where she stands in her battle against Goku, and if possibly she's going to have any sort of influence in further awakening Jiren from his meditation. And again, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and enable all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel in connection to news, information, and updates. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. Now, DevilArtemis, welcome back onto the channel as we are going to be talking about Kefla and her brand new fusion in the Tournament of Power. Now, it stirred up a lot of controversy within the community, as some people agree with the fusion while other people disagree with the concept of Kefla having to be so strong. But people tend to forget that nobody really cried out BS when base form Goku Black was able to tank a Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Nobody cried out BS when base Vegito was able to handle and compete against Super Buu Gohan Absorbed. So seeing what Kefla did against a Super Saiyan God Goku and what's to come in this week's episode, it's no surprise to me considering that both Kale and Khalifa are very powerful in their own right, and having to combine that and all of their abilities to adapt and perfect their techniques. What I wanted to ask you is, going into this week's episode, what are your overall thoughts on Super Saiyan God versus base form Kefla, which forces Goku in going Super Saiyan Blue? Just the overall concept of Super Saiyan God having to struggle against a potential base form fusion, and then later having to see her transform into a Super Saiyan in her own right, in which, assumingly enough, we are going to get Super Saiyan Blue versus Kefla's Super Saiyan Power. But I want to get your take on Super Saiyan God versus Kefla and where you stand on that, if you agree or disagree with that concept. And also, my second question to you is, do you think that Kefla is going to be potentially the one responsible for waking Jiren up out of his meditation and getting him to be active more? Because the last thing we've heard from Jiren was the fact that he didn't deem anybody as being worthy to fight him in the tournament because he did his job in ringing out, hit and defeating Goku. So the first part of the question, Super Saiyan God and Kefla, and the second part is, where do you stand with the Jiren, and do you believe that Kefla is going to be the one to break him out of that meditation state?
For the first question, I want to talk about the whole Super Saiyan God and Kefla thing when they're fighting, and people, I was on a Discord server, and several individuals they were really upset with the whole, Goku's in his God form, and he was fighting individuals like Beerus, and yet and he's a lot stronger now, and Kefla is over here in her base form. This isn't the first time in Dragon Ball that we've seen a fusion show dominance over a transformed state.
Right.
So the prime example that I want to use is with the Super Buu fight against
Vegito.
Yeah, but he wasn't in Vegito yet. He wasn't fused into Vegito. But when Goku threw the Potara at Gohan, and Gohan missed the Potara, and the Potara disappeared under the rocks, and they were looking for it, Goku actually held off Buu in his Super Saiyan 3 form. So for Goku to be in Super Saiyan 3, which at that time was a big, the big holy shit at that saga, in the Buu saga.
Right.
Okay, for Goku to be Super Saiyan 3 and have an extremely hard time to hold off Buu, to be able to fuse into Vegeta, who's in his base form. Okay, Vegito in his base form is stronger, obviously, than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So who's to argue? You can't argue that a fusion of a base form is not stronger than a transformed individual. That concept has to go out the window, because we've had that for years. So it's the same concept, except it's not a Super Saiyan number transformation, it's a God form. And it's not that surprising, only because of the rate of growth of the Universe 6 Saiyans.
Right.
We have Kale and Kefla, who are extremely powerful, being able to achieve these forms in such little amount of time, especially Kale, who tanked the Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha right to the face. I mean, in her legendary Super Saiyan form, we don't know how it scales compared to any God form, obviously, normally anybody would say that's retarded. How can a legendary Super Saiyan form be in any way comparable to a Super Saiyan God form. It's not me who's writing the show. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. It's Toei, whoever makes those decisions. They're the ones who have the answers for those questions. But as for Kale taking on Super Saiyan God, I think it's appropriate. I think that it makes sense that Kale's in her base form and she's able, you know, to knock around a Super Saiyan God Goku. Is she completely freaking one-shotting him? No. She punched him into a boulder. That doesn't mean that Super Saiyan God Goku's out for the count. You don't know if he's gonna start fighting back and then she transforms. He forces her to go Super Saiyan in the next episode, and she fights back and forces him to go Super Saiyan Blue. We don't know. We do not know. It could be a situation where she's just a little bit above Super Saiyan God Goku. We don't know. We have to wait and see. As for the second question with Jiren, you know, going into his meditation state, do I think that Kefla could be the one to awaken him? It depends how the episode goes. If Goku ends up being stronger than Kefla in the Super Saiyan Blue form and redeeming himself, I don't think that Jiren will wake up. But if Kefla's power becomes extremely overwhelming and she burns, you know, all this power out and eventually burns out through the fusion, I feel like Jiren is going to wake up and her power could possibly wake up Jiren. It depends what type of transformation she have. Does she have access to that legendary Super Saiyan power that Kale does?
That's the tricky part. That's the tricky part because, you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, they're giving her the Gotenks treatment because back in Dragon Ball Z, Gotenks, or Goten and Trunks before fusing, they asked Goku, hey, can you show us Super Saiyan 3 just one time? And after he did so, they memorized it to the point where they executed it in the time chamber. And I remember a lot of people just like, wait, how? Because it took Goku literally years in the afterlife to train and not even perfect the form, but simply achieving that power and getting used to it. And here we have the boys fuse and achieving Super Saiyan 3 so casually. Even Piccolo was shocked. Piccolo was like, did this really happen? So, you know, seeing that and what you just said, yeah, the Universe 6 Saiyans are so adaptable. And I think to an extent that's why so many people hate them, is because they're getting everything so quickly, so early, that the fandom doesn't know either A, how to register, or B, they disagree with how quickly they're getting it. But we already know that based on foreshadowing alone with Super Saiyan 3, that it is highly possible that Kefla is going to get Super Saiyan 3, which I guess you could say is fitting to the narrative. So as long as she doesn't go beyond that, perhaps Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, which I really doubt she will ever achieve that. However, Super Saiyan 3, it seems a bit more plausible. So, and given the fact that they just saw Goku achieve it, my question to you is, do you see her achieving Super Saiyan 3? And let's say, hypothetically speaking, because this never happened with the other fusions, let's say, for example, aside from Gotenks, let's say, for example, she does achieve Super Saiyan 3 in her battle against either Goku, or Vegeta, or Golden Frieza, or Toppo, anybody else but Jiren. Let's say, for example, she does achieve Super Saiyan 3 as a fused Saiyan. Where would you rank her then in terms of power? Because let's say, hypothetically speaking, her legendary Super Saiyan form is enough to be on par with Goku and forcing him to go Kaioken, then where would you stack up Super Saiyan 3 on top of that? Because people fail to understand how strong she is, and the idea that on her debut, she blitzed right past Goku. Goku couldn't understand like what happened. The only other time I can remember, you know, I can remember anything happened like that, like was in the manga, was when Merge Zamasu blitzed right through Goku and Vegeta, knocking them out of their God form. That's how quick she was. Even though she didn't knock Goku out of his God form, she was fast enough to make Goku even a tad bit nervous. So let's say, for example, she does achieve Super Saiyan 3. How would you see, you know, the tournament go from there? And how would you stack up her power compared to Super Saiyan Blue Goku and other people? Because she's going to be very strong, bro.
Well, to answer that question, I need to ask you guys a question, including the viewers. What do you guys consider the requirements to be for a transformation? So, for example, for you to achieve the power of Super Saiyan, right? Can you agree that you must have a certain power level or a certain amount of strength to be able to become a Super Saiyan? Or do you think that it's just something that's achieved through, I guess, like just randomly? Like, do you believe that you have to have a certain amount of strength to become a Super Saiyan, or a Super Saiyan 2 or a Super Saiyan 3? Because from my understanding, for you to become a Super Saiyan 3, I feel like you have to have a certain amount of strength first, and then be able to tap into it correctly. You know, there's a process. I don't feel that a Saiyan can just go from base form to Super Saiyan 3 and
so casually. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just skip Super Saiyan 1 and 2. A Saiyan first has to experience what a Super Saiyan is, you know, learn how to control that, because that's a very violent transformation. Then as they get stronger and more accustomed to the form and their power level goes higher, they transform Super Saiyan 2, and then they have to go through this intense like internal grasp of energy and power to bring out that Super Saiyan 3 energy, right?
Right.
We have to keep in mind that the way fusion works is that when you fuse with someone, it multiplies your power like tenfold. But the combined powers of the individual, I believe it's tenfold or like a certain number, it's a certain multiple,
right?
And fusion just completely multiplies that power. So as to why Goten and Trunks could turn Super Saiyan 3, it's because of the fusion itself, the power of that combined character. Gotenks is his own person. You know what I'm saying? Gotenks is one being. It's a combination of two into one single individual. He is a completely separate character. So we have to forget everything about like Goten as an individual and combine what he has with Trunks and then multiply that. So I feel like Kefla, to have this immense power of the Universe 6 Saiyans on both ends, on both Kale and Kefla, combine that, both of their potential, both of all that power that they have, that they've obtained in a short amount of time, Super Saiyan 2, at a short amount of time, literally, okay? And multiply that by whatever multiple the fusion is, 10 or 20, whatever it is, okay? And you're telling me that you're not surprised that they might go Super Saiyan 3? I feel like it was a given. I feel like that a fusion being able to go Super Saiyan 3 is just a given, you know? It isn't the first time, like I said before, that fusions are able to tap into abilities that the fusion partners have.
Right.
So, like Vegito, he was able to go Super Saiyan Blue, obviously, because Vegeta and Goku both have Super Saiyan Blue. You get what I'm saying? So there might be a possibility that Kefla could possibly turn into a legendary Super Saiyan form, or she'll have a transformation, a combination of the two from Kale Super Saiyan. But I mean, there's no other ability that she can have. The only other ability that she could have to apply to her Super Saiyan transformation would be that whole legendary form. That'd be the only transformation that she has. But other than that, though, in terms of Super Saiyan 3, I won't be surprised if Kefla reaches Super Saiyan 3, because like I said, it's been done before. And I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans are very young, and some might not remember, or some might not remember exactly through source material like what happened. Go back. If you have a question, go back, rewatch the episode or reread the manga and see what happens. You know, Gotenks goes into Super Saiyan 3 and he's a fusion. You know what I'm saying? Goten and Trunks aren't able to achieve it on themselves.
But also remember, it's because of his Super Saiyan 3 that he kind of burned through the fusion a bit early too. So it is possible that, let's say hypothetically speaking, she does go into this tournament achieving Super Saiyan 3. She might be, if anything, the strongest one aside from Jiren. But if that's going to be the case, then I do see her fusion burning off a bit quicker than how we normally would assume her to last, because with the current powers, I mean, we can only assume that she's gonna go the full hour. But I think that, similar to what happened with Gotenks, I think that she's gonna burn through a bit quicker. I mean, I don't think that she's gonna burn through like Vegito did, because Vegito and Kefla is incomparable. I think that Vegito stomps. I don't know if anyone out there wants to argue with me, but Vegito Blue versus whatever Kefla becomes, it's incomparable. I think that Vegito stands head and shoulders above her. But looking at her legendary Super Saiyan 3 form, where would you stack that? Would you say, in your opinion, it would be stronger than Super Saiyan Blue? And if that, stronger than Kaioken times 10, Kaioken times 20? And if that's the case, if that's ultimately the case, do you see her ever challenging someone stronger than Goku, Vegeta at the tournament? For example, Jiren? Because I really do feel in my heart of hearts that something needs to trigger Jiren in being active again. And one of two scenarios might be: A, if Toppo and Dispo end up getting wrung out and it's just him by himself, in which he is forced to fight from then on, or if he detects another power on the field that is worthy enough of stepping up to and getting rid of before things get worse for him. So what's your take on Super Saiyan 3 in terms of like where she would stack compared to everyone else? If she would be stronger than Kaioken times 10 or 20? And by the end of it, if she does end up fighting Jiren in that state of form, what do you think the end result would be, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, for her to, if we're gonna compare her to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, like I said, it all depends on the episode. I don't like guessing, because I like basing my predictions
on what happens
off the evidence that we have. Right now, there's no evidence other than she's a little, you know, stronger than Super Saiyan God through feats. I mean,
but it does. Goku did say in the preview, I mean, he's gonna use King Kai Fist. So
well, Goku using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. I mean, Super Saiyan Blue, right? As an example, it depends how the fight goes.
Right.
If, like I said, if Kefla, whatever. Jesus Christ.
Kefla.
Kefla, whatever. If she's fighting Goku, okay, and he's in Super Saiyan God form, okay, and she's kicking his ass, and he transforms Super Saiyan Blue, for example. Say this is how the fight goes. She's fighting him, he transforms Super Saiyan Blue. He fights back and forces her to go Super Saiyan, okay? This puts her Super Saiyan level either at a grade above Super Saiyan Blue or on par with Super Saiyan Blue, which in turn will probably make Goku have to use Kaioken if her Super Saiyan form is above Super Saiyan Blue. Because if he transforms Super Saiyan Blue, that makes him above her base form.
Right.
She transforms into her legendary Super Saiyan, whatever power she has, that puts her above Super Saiyan Blue. And the only other option Goku has after that is his Kaioken, you know, and of course applying the multiples. The question is, does he have enough energy to do that? Blah blah blah, etc. etc. But it all depends. In my opinion, if I had to predict, it would either be that Kefla is above Super Saiyan God, under Super Saiyan Blue, but once she transforms Super Saiyan, she's above Super Saiyan Blue. You get what I'm saying? And then that forces Goku to go Kaioken. I don't think that Kefla's gonna beat Goku in his Kaioken.
Really?
I don't. I think that's going too far. To be able to defeat a Kaioken times 20 Goku in Super Saiyan Blue, that's way too fucking
I mean,
far.
you can make the argument that perhaps maybe her Super Saiyan form is enough to hold herself off against Blue Goku and forcing him to go Kaioken, which forces her in stepping it up to Super Saiyan 2 and then perhaps Super Saiyan 3. And because that's what I'm saying here. It's like perhaps maybe Super Saiyan God is enough to push her to go Super Saiyan, which ultimately pushes him in using Super Saiyan Blue, which pushes her to use Super Saiyan 2, which pushes him to use Kaioken, which pushes her to use Super Saiyan 3. You see, do you see the back and forth struggle here?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah. So it is a possibility that a fusion Super Saiyan 3 can be stronger than a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20.
Do you agree with that? I don't personally. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Listen, yeah, because it's a fusion. It's not a normal person.
You know, it's not only that, but Goku, bro, think of everything Goku had to go through. And by no means are we complaining. We're just stating our opinion. Look at everything Goku had gone through in the world of Dragon Ball. From Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to Super. Every amount of training he's done with Whis, by himself, with Vegeta, and everything the guy had to push his body through. And now we have these Saiyans that are so adaptable that can catch up to him. That's why people hate them so much, I think, and that I've seen a lot of people complain, you know, and saying, oh well, they're giving the girls everything so early and this, that, and the third. Well, for plot purposes they have to, because it's like you can't just introduce Goku as being like the sole survivor and him having to fight Jiren like until the end, because that's I mean, let's face facts, that's a bit boring. Right. So they have to introduce like a new element. And I mean, how many of us actually assumed that we were going to see a fusion to begin with? Because remember, the Potaras are considered to be, I guess, weapons or illegal, but they had it with them. And it's surprising how Zeno is just letting it go. And I'm only assuming that Zeno isn't really going to care no more. He's just going to say, you know what,
well listen,
do what you got to do, man.
Listen, with the we were talking about that in your Discord last night too, about the Potaras. The Potaras aren't considered weapons,
but they're outside objects, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but the thing is though, Zeno permitted outside objects as long as it doesn't bring harm to individuals. So for an example that I would use would be Roshi's bottle.
Yeah, he let that go. I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? So Zeno was like, that's fine. He's not harming anybody, so you know, whatever. It's not something that's hurting someone. He's not using it as a weapon. It's not healing anybody. The Potaras are just combining two individuals together, which happen to have the effect of multiplying the person's power, which is kind of technically cheating, but it doesn't matter, because if the Omni King says, listen, it's okay, what are you gonna do?
Who's gonna argue
with
him?
Okay. You know, who's gonna fucking argue?
I agree.
So I mean, at this point in time, if you want to consider the Potara's items, I mean, you're gonna have to consider the fact that Roshi used the whole bottle for the Mafuba. So if that was passed, it and the Mafuba bottle did absolutely nothing. He used more than one bottle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I remember Champa and everyone was like crying out, cheating, and Zeno was like, it's okay. Yeah.
So I mean, if you guys let that fly, you can't complain. If you're gonna complain about A, why complain about B when they're the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't. Right. If you didn't complain about the first thing, don't complain about the second thing, because like you look like an idiot. You know, you look like a retard complaining about something that was already done before.
Right, right.
I don't personally, I don't think the Potara should be counted as like a weapon or an item, because I mean, it's not like they took the Potara earring and threw it at Goku's face and like it poked him in the eye and he's blind now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't use it as a weapon. They just fucking put it on their ears. Like, you know, who cares? Either way, the Omni King's gonna be entertained. So. Whatever.
My final question to you is, do you see her getting wrung out as a fusion, or do you see them separating and then getting wrung out? Because I'm sorry to say, I don't see them winning. I mean, I see them really doing damage, but by the end of it, is it a defuse elimination, or is it going to be a fused elimination?
Defuse. Okay. I feel like, listen, Champa, if we looked at the flashback, Champa gave him the fusion Potara earrings, and he told him about you know, to use them whatever at the last minute. I don't think that Kale and Kefla they've never fused before, and I don't think they were actually told about how the fusion really entirely works. So as far as we know, we don't even know if Champa knows if they stay fused together or for an hour, blah blah blah. Like, none of those details were explained to them, and so for them to be fused together, they've never experienced fusion, so how do they know that if they transform Super Saiyan 3, their fusion time is going to be cut down to like 5 minutes? How do they know? They don't know that. So they'll probably, and the more energy you exert, you know what I'm saying? The more energy that you put out, the shorter your fusion time.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll go Super Saiyan 3 and charge up this ultimate super strong attack, and then they defuse, and that gives Goku the chance now in Super Saiyan Blue to eliminate them. You get what I'm saying? So that is a possibility that could happen. So you think
it's gonna be Goku that's gonna ring him out?
Well, it could be, you know, it could be
I
Goku.
want Frieza. I'm sorry, bro. Like that.
Listen, it could be Frieza. It could be Frieza, but I feel like they are going to defuse.
Right.
In my idea, I think there's a possibility that that Frieza is gonna come up with some type of sneak attack or something.
I would love that.
That's the kind of, I mean, that's the kind of idea that I have going on in my head right now, where like Frieza's gonna be like waiting for the opportunity to attack, because Frieza's not an idiot. You know, Frieza's smart. So I feel like they're gonna defuse, and then Frieza's gonna attack and ring them out when they defuse, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck happened? And Goku knows about the fusion. He knows about the flaws, because he's the one who taught it to Goten and Trunks. And then on top of that, he's experienced also the Potaras. And both in the manga and the anime, both fusions have that problem with the freaking using the fusion's power, whatever, using all its power. If you're transformed, the fusion time is cut down shorter, and same thing with the fusion dance. As you're transformed, the fusion time is cut down shorter. So both fusions have that flaw, both Potara and the Metamorian, whatever it's called, the dance technique. So either way, I think they're going to defuse and they're going to get eliminated that way. So
it's going to be very fun. I really can't wait to see her in action. As much as people want to complain, I would say she's a lot better off than Brienne. Even though, I mean, logically speaking, she is supposed to be stronger with the multiplier, and just, you know, her as an individual. I mean, considering the fact that you have two Saiyans that are so adaptable. Do I agree with her beating Super Saiyan God? No. Do I agree with her beating Super Saiyan Blue? No. But you have to beg the question. Base form Goku Black, he handled Blue Vegeta easily. And same thing goes with Vegito and many other things that happen in the world of Dragon Ball. So post your comments down below, guys. Do you guys disagree or agree with this concept? Do you guys see Super Saiyan 3 Kefla making her debut in the tournament? And where do you guys stand with her having to fight Goku? How strong is she going to be? Thank you all so much for watching, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on notifications. That way you guys can get my video in your sub box whenever a new video is posted. Guys, also check out DevilArtemis' channel. I will leave a link to that down below. Devil, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.